Yep. Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome back to our Chavruta sessions live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg in the Noahide World Center. I have really enjoyed his classes the last couple weeks, plus his articles in the Vision magazine. Excellent material. I see the rabbis already in the Google Meets class, so let's just jump right in and say hello. Shalom, Rabbi. So good to be with you. I'm just going to pin you on the big screen. And you're live on the air, Rabbi.
Good evening. Good to see you. How are you doing, everybody? Hope everything is fine. Everything is well. Everyone is well. By us in Israel, it's okay. Who knows what will happen? We are progressing. Everything is fine. Good to see you. I see faces that I didn't saw for a long time. So blessings from Jerusalem, and good to see you as well. And also for all those who are usually with us. It's great to see you. It's a good stable point of time of the week that that we are becoming together. I was thinking on one thing, but on the other side, I wanted to send you already something to learn, and I'm happy that I didn't have the time to do this, in calm way. So because I received a very interesting email last week. And I had a very interesting conversation with this person. I don't know who he is. He didn't explain himself too much. I'm not sure even if he is a Jewish or a Noahide. I really don't know. And basically, he asked a very simple question, and he's not the first one who asked me this question. And it's also related to things that after we came back from India, people saw that one of the things that happened to people after they did the pledge and accepted on themselves to become Noahide, they also state the verse, the very famous verse, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Okay, O Israel, listen, God is our God, the Almighty God is our God, and He is one. And the question is, how come we are allowing people who are not from Israel to say this verse? And especially if you go to the prayer book, you will see that we are not only allowing to do that, we think that this is part of the prayers. And he said to me, why? Why do we do that? So I answered him. In a moment, you're going to get much more in-depth, I will say, profound answer. But I answered him what I answered. And he said to me back something that was really annoyed me. And because of that, I decided to give the answer here, loud and clear, with all of you. You're going to participate with this thing. Because basically what he said to me is that it's not okay that we're giving the possibility to non-Jewish people to say this sentence. So it is connected also with the parsha that we read yesterday, with the Ten Commandments. And let's go step by step. But first of all, I would like to start with something else, okay? From something else a bit, and then you will see that everything is getting connected. Let me close the door so it won't bother me. Sorry. Let's start with something that I think that we all know. We spoke about this, I think, 2.5 years ago already, or maybe almost 3 years ago. It was at the beginning of the war. And it's a very simple question that we spoke. And I'm going to a bit, I don't know if the word is to shock you, but, to show you two different ways of how to answer the question. Okay? And the main thing is there is a verse, a very famous verse, that he's saying, you see here, that this guy, his name is Fran. I was wondering why in the Brit Olam prayer book, for Noahide, Rabbi Shirki allows Gentiles, I don't like this word, but it's not me, to say the Jewish prayer of the Shema in the morning prayers. Okay, and then never mind everything that I said, that I answered, never mind. We have a very, very famous verse, okay, in the beginning of the Ten Commandments. And this verse is saying, in the internal, I am your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. And the question is a very famous question. And I want to show this with your permission. You don't see my screen, right? Sorry. Okay, the beginning of the Ten Commandments, God is exploring himself and saying that he is God who took us out from Egypt. Okay? And so let me share the screen and let's see for a moment. Oh, come on. Okay. But let me know that you can see my screen. Excellent. Okay? You can see my screen, right? So let me jump to this screen so I will manage to show down what to read and what not to read. It's a long one, so it doesn't need to read everything. Okay. This is what you see. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can see it.
What we're going to read now, okay, never mind all the AI things to change the wordings. This is basically, it's called the Ibn Ezra. Okay, the Ibn Ezra, his name was Rabbi Abraham Ibn Ezra, the son of Ezra. He was living in the time of Rabbi Yehuda Levi. In a moment you will see it. And we're speaking about 1,100 years. Okay, so we're speaking about almost 1,000 years ago. He's very old rabbi, and they were together, both of them. They saw each other. The rumors are saying, I don't know if it's true because it's so long, we don't know exactly. The rumors are saying that Rabbi Yehuda Levi gave his daughter to Ibn Ezra, or the vice versa. Or they were connected one with each other. And you can see it here. Okay, please, let's read. Let's read at the beginning, let's read till here. Okay? Maybe you want me, I will do it a bit
sure.
A bit bigger. You want me to
okay.
Where's the text a bit? It is. And okay, please.
Okay, Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, who rests in glory, once asked me why God said, I am the Lord thy God who brought thee out of the land of Egypt, rather than I am the Lord thy God who made heaven and earth and created you. I answered the following. Know that people who believe in God, the glorious, are not on the same level of faith. Many believe what they have heard. That is, they believe because their masters have told them so. Above them are those who believe because of what they have read in the Torah, which God gave to Moses. Now, they would place their hands upon their mouths if a heretic were to come along and argue that God does not exist, for they do not possess the means to answer. Now, a person whose heart has moved him to study the sciences, which are the steps that lead to the place of his desire, will see God's work in the metals, in the plants and living creatures, and in the human body itself. He will know the makeup of each organ according to the scientific explanations of how each organ functions. He will similarly know the reasons for each organ's form. His heart will then aspire to learn the sciences of the spheres that are the Lord's works in the middle world, which is everlasting. He will learn when the sun or the moon is eclipsed. He will know how the moon causes the sun to be eclipsed. He will know why the moon is eclipsed and what causes its eclipses. He will know these things and be able to prove them beyond a shadow of doubt. The intelligent person will come to know God by learning the ways of God.
So we have here, he is describing two different people, those who are, I will say, listening and accepting that there is God or something like that. But there are those who have much more reason, much more, I will say, logic inside. They are learning in the university, they're learning a lot of things, and they can know how to argue, they know how to speak, and they know what to do. Those are people who have a lot, I will say, inside their brain. So how is this answering why God started by describing him that he went out from Egypt? So for this, we need to read a bit more, okay? I'm trying to, you know what? Never mind. I won't do that. I will I will continue on. Let's continue on. So please read. Let's read till till the end of this paragraph, please.
Okay, Moses similarly stated, "Show me now thy ways, that I may know thee," from Exodus 33:13. Now God, the revered, proclaimed, "I am the Lord thy God," in his first statement. Only one who is of great intellect can understand this. I have already explained in the Torah, Ve'ela Shemot, that God alone is everlasting, without any change, and that there is none aside from him that exists forever, and none aside from him is enthroned of old. Selah, from Psalm 55:20. God alone maintains the uppermost world by his power. The middle world is maintained by God's power and by his holy angels, who are of the uppermost world. Ours, the lowest of the worlds, is maintained by God's power plus the power of the two higher worlds. Now the statement, "I am the Lord," is sufficient for the intelligent of any nation, but only Israel believes that the sky and the earth were made close to 5,000 years ago. The nations of the world do not deny that God alone made the sky and earth. They differ only in that they maintain that God continuously creates without beginning or end. Now the Lord performed signs and wonders in Egypt until Moses brought them out of there so that he would be their God. Moses similarly said, "Or hath God essayed to go and take him a nation from the midst of another nation," from Deuteronomy 4:34. The meaning of the latter is that God did for Israel what he did not do for any other nation. God created the middle world. He rules over the lowest of the worlds. Good or bad befalls every nation according to the arrangement of its star. For this is what God has appointed to them. Now Israel was destined to continue in slavery according to the stars of its constellation.
So, and we can continue on. Basically, and I will send it to you, so you'll be able also to read it by yourself. The answer that he is continuing and giving, he is saying, when God wanted to say that you need to believe in him, he spoke for the people in the most lowest level that felt that was part of this, I will say, occasion of being rescued out from Egypt. So even those who don't really have a lot of brain inside their head, okay, let's call them young kids, or maybe disabled people, or maybe those who are not, not everybody is going to the university, not everyone is very smart. Also for those people, God spoke. And this is why when he said, I am God, okay, who took you out from Egypt, he said, I took you out from Egypt, so everybody can understand that. But if you will continue on, if you will try to learn it a bit more, the truth is what we saw here, okay, is that you need to learn more and more and more to knowledge God in much more profound understanding how he created this world and what's happening in this world. This is the answer of the Ibn Ezra. This is his answer. If I will jump for a moment to Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, and we learned it more than once, and we will go to the Kuzari, we will see that the Kuzari have a different answer. We know that, okay? The answer of the Kuzari is saying something else. Just a moment, let me share the screen. Where it is? Here it is. Okay. Let me know that you see everything, okay? You see the Kuzari here? You see the Kuzari, right? Okay. And the Kuzari is in the beginning, in 11. Okay, please read the Kuzari. We saw that more than once, but it's very important to mention this again, please. Dan?
Okay.
So first of
The
all,
rabbi replied, I
please.
believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, who led the children of Israel out of Egypt with signs and miracles, who fed them in the desert and gave them the land after having made them traverse the sea and the Jordan in a miraculous way, who sent Moses with his law and subsequently thousands of prophets, who confirmed his law by promises to the observant and threats to the disobedient. Our belief is comprised in the Torah, a very large domain.
And this is the answer, okay, that I believe in God who took us out from Egypt and helped our forefathers and did all those miracles for us, it's something that is very disappointing. The Kuzari, the king, and he's saying, he's straight ahead stating, I was saying to myself not to ask the Jews. The Jews already, being in the exile, they forgot everything. You were supposed to say to me that you believe in God who created this world, okay, the creator of the world, okay? And then he's going inside. I want to remind us all, it's very important. I want to remind us all. He's going inside to a very interesting, I will say, explanation. And the explanation that he's giving is about a king very far from us. In those days, we don't have airplanes, we don't have anything. Don't forget that all the Himalaya heights that we have is this doing a very big differentiation, between the Europe and India. And India is very far. And he's going there and he's starting to say to him, let's give this, let's see this in a moment, and we will say that it's totally different from the Ibn Ezra. Okay? Those two that spoke one with each other, please. Please read, we need to read a few of them, and then we will understand what this is answering. Please.
Okay. 19. The rabbi said, if thou wert told that the king of India was an excellent man, commanding admiration and deserving his high reputation, one whose actions were reflected in the justice which rules his country and the virtuous ways of his subjects, would this bind thee to revere him? And Al-Khazari replied in 20, how could this bind me, whilst I am not sure of if the justice of the Indian people is natural and not dependent on their king, or due to the king, or both?
So here, look good. He's doing a very interesting story, but basically he's speaking about God. All the time, don't think about the Indian king, okay? Think about God, that we don't have any connection with him. We don't see him. The world that we see today, and the world that people saw also in the era of Egypt, or the era from the beginning of the world, we never saw that God created the world. We see a world with a lot of laws of nature, and we don't see God. Suddenly someone is coming to us, like Moses, and saying to us, look, there is God, let's obey him. I don't know if he exists, not exist. Do I need to obey him? Do I need to have any connection with him? What is my relation with him? And this is what the El-Khuzari is also answering. So let's continue on. Let's see what he is doing now. Please, 21. Yes.
1 second. Yeah, sorry, I got extra buttons to press. The rabbi, but if his messenger came to thee bringing presents, which thou knowest to be only procurable in India and in the royal palace, accompanied by a letter in which it is distinctly stated from whom it comes, and to which are added drugs to cure thy diseases, to preserve thy health, poisons for thy enemies, and other means to fight and kill them without battle, would this make thee beholden to him?
And the answer of the El-Khuzari?
Certainly, for this would remove my former doubt that the Indians have a king. I should also acknowledge that a proof of his power and dominion has reached me.
And we see that he is describing this, Rabbi Yehuda Levi, in his story, and the same things that happened to us in Egypt, that our enemies suddenly got a lot of pledges, and that we were very safety in a different situation. They got poisons, they got killed, and we got... So suddenly, it's starting to be related with me, right? And this is... now he's continuing on with a very important 23, 24, please. No, you read it already. Okay? So now we need to read...
23 and 24.
23 and 4, yes, please.
Okay, how wouldst thou then, if asked, describe him? In terms about which I am quite clear, and to these I could add others which were at first rather doubtful, but are no longer.
Now, what is clear? My experience. What is not clear? That he created the world. This is what exactly...
But his providence is his providence.
He spoke with us,
evident.
and we said to us that he took us out from Egypt. It's very clear for me. We had this, I will say, experience. And then he also said to us in the 4th, keep the Shabbat because I created the world before. And this is what he's also answering here. It's a long one. You can read it. You know it. We spoke about this more than once. But there is a very, very big, I will say, difference between those two sages. The Ibn Ezra, okay, that you read in the beginning, and again, if you want, I will send it to you. It's on Sefaria, but I can send it to you, so it will give you. You don't need to waste your time to find it there. The Ibn Ezra is saying basically that the most important thing is that someone will be very wise and learn those things. And as more that he will learn, he will acknowledge God better and better. Rabbi Levi is saying, no. You don't understand what's happening here. The most important thing is that this experience that we passed, this is what is giving us, I will say, the certainty of the relation with God, right? And after that, we can also try to learn things. So I did some sort of a summarize between those two. And if you, with your permission, we're going to see this. It's a very important summary, a very important one. It is. If you want, I can also, again, if you want, I will share this with you. Just a moment, let me jump there. So I will be able to see it with you. Just a moment. Here it is. This is what you see, right? Let's put it a bit bigger. Why not? It's not giving me. Do it bigger a bit. Can you see that?
You have to enlarge the boxes. Yeah.
Need to enlarge it a bit. So just a moment. We will do it.
No, each box, the B and C. There you go. Yeah, you got it.
No. I know. So let's go for a moment, step by step. Read them, the point of comparison, Rabbi Yehuda Levi and Rabbi Avraham Ibn Ezra. Okay, so we have
focus of proof.
5, 6. So please, let's go.
Okay, focus of proof, Rabbi Yehuda Halevi said, miracles and history, the Exodus as a sensory event witnessed by an entire nation. And the Ibn Ezra says, nature and science, the intricate design of the human body, metals and celestial spheres. The target audience.
Right?
Yes.
And the target
audience is the entire nation. Historical revelation binds everyone equally and instantly. And the hierarchical from Ibn Ezra says Exodus is for the masses, while recognizing God through nature is for the intellectuals, the masculine.
Exactly.
On the essence of faith, the Rabbi Yehuda Halevi said personal and dynamic.
Just a moment. Let's do it in a way that it will be clear. Just a moment. No, come on, move it a bit. No. Okay, now it will be much clearer. Okay, please, let's continue.
Okay, Yehuda Halevi said on the essence of faith, it's personal and dynamic, a God who intervenes, hears prayer, and acts for his people. The Ibn Ezra says law and wisdom, recognition of the Creator through the immutable laws and order of the universe. I mean, they both have key points for sure. And the role of philosophy, according to Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, skepticism, human reasoning can err. Only collective eyewitnesses' testimony provides certainty. The Ibn Ezra essential tool, scientific and intellectual inquiry, is the path to reaching a refined high-level faith. In the paradigm shift, according to Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, breaking the Christian Western concept of the blind faith by demanding empirical history. That's a paradigm shift for sure. The Ibn Ezra challenging the idea that miracles are the highest level, identifying nature's design as the ultimate truth.
We have here exact differences between those two. Okay. While, as you all know, I very prefer Rabbi Yehuda Levi, I'll call it like that, and this is why we're teaching this much more. But now we're starting to understand what's happening, or the debate that we have in the first verse of the Ten Commandments. And now we need to move one step ahead, because the Maimonides is very clear with what he is doing. He's doing something amazing. He's opening, I don't know why I'm hearing myself twice. Maybe, Dan, you need to shut down something in the
I'm sorry, yeah, I got lots going on my computer.
Okay, now you can hear me, everybody is fine? Okay. the Maimonides is doing something really amazing. I think that I don't think that the problem is that when you open, we need to open the beginning of the Maimonides in his phenomenal book, not the 1,000 chapters of how to behave, what to believe, how to react as a human being, not only as a Jewish, but also as a human being. Okay, let me find it for a moment. And now the problem is that if I will open the Chabad, unfortunately, the Chabad are not quoting exactly how the Maimonides is writing. Okay, the Chabad is doing things let me share with you the screen. Again, if you want, I will give you everything that we saw here. Yeah, I will share after the lesson, I will share it with the people here. But so let's go to, let me share the right screen for a moment. I'm sorry. It is. It's giving me the opportunity. Yes. Let's go like that. It will be much easier. It is. You can see my screen, right? Let's go to the beginning of the first chapter of what we call the Mishneh Torah. Okay, in a moment it will be also in English. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You see? So at the beginning of the beginning, okay, the first chapter of the Maimonides. I think I said it more than once. And I'm going here to Sefaria because I hope, I didn't check this up, I hope the Sefaria will give the exact, I will say, writing of the Maimonides and won't add things that we see today in the script. Okay, so please read the first those two sentences.
Okay, the foundation of all foundations and the pillar of wisdom is to know that there is a primary being who brought into being all existence. All the beings of the heavens, the earth, and what is between them came into existence only from the truth of his being. If one would imagine that he does not exist, no other being could possibly exist.
First of all, the wordings that he's using in Hebrew, okay, ladat, to know, to knowledge, those are the words that he's using in Hebrew, is very much reminding us of the Ibn Ezra. Now we know that the Maimonides was a very, very bright person and a very philosophical person. Even the non-Jewish, I will say, sages used his books, okay, and quoted his books. He was a doctor. He was a very famous person, okay, along history. Even though he was living something like 200 years after the Ibn Ezra, but he is going according to him. And I will jump a bit because he's explaining everything that he's saying here. But it's very important to understand that he's quoting through a few verses. He's quoting a verse from Jeremiah, and God, your Lord, is true. He's quoting another verse from Deuteronomy. Okay, there's nothing else aside from him. Fair enough. But at the end, he's saying something very, very amazing. I read it in Hebrew, and then he will read it in English. Okay. I see that they're doing it very nicely, very good. וידיעת דבר זה מצוות עשה, שנאמר, אנוכי השם אלוהיך. Okay, I see, this is the only sentence you need to read, not more than that. So let's read it, please.
Okay, it says, the knowledge of this concept is a positive commandment as implied by Exodus 20, verse 2. I am God, your Lord.
What is he missing? What is the continuance of this verse? I am God, your Lord, who took you out from Egypt. He's not writing it.
Took you out of Egypt, yes.
He's not writing these things. You know why? Because he understands, the Maimonides understands, that the acceptance of God, that he is our God, who created this world, it's not limited to the Hebrew nation only. The Hebrew nation can say, you took us out from Egypt. What is the rest of the world supposed to say? Like Jethro. He saw that the Hebrew nation went out from Egypt. He was thrilled. He heard everything. He was amazed. And what did he do? He came to the Hebrew nation. He said to them, I want to get connected with you. Okay, he was a Noahide. There are sages who are saying that he also did conversion. It's not so clear. this situation. It's a big debate inside our sages. But the knowledge that God is our Lord, that God is the one who created the world, that God is the one who's controlling this world, is not being only to the Hebrew nation. The whole world is supposed to accept and to acknowledge that God is our Lord, that God created this world, that God is my God. Okay? How the world is understanding that? With the experience of the Hebrew nation. The Hebrew nation had passed this experience of the relation with God along history, not only in Egypt. Okay, we managed to defeat a lot of empires, as you all know. Okay, and those who got connected with us understand this also. So the Maimonides is spreading this verse, and everybody is supposed to acknowledge God. Let's continue on to another thing. Okay, then he's continuing on the Maimonides. Okay, the next idea that he is saying to us, this God. In a moment, I will give time to ask questions. Please. Done.
This God is one. He is not two or more, unified in a manner which surpasses any unity that is found in the world. He is not one in the manner of a general category, which includes many individual entities, nor one in the way that the body is divided into different portions and dimensions. Rather, he is unified, and there exists no unity similar to his in this world.
And the Maimonides now, just a moment, the Maimonides now is going to explain this and to express it. It's going to go inside, to dive inside to a lot of ideas that is relating with the idea that he is one. But again, the Maimonides have something very, very important to show us, prove us that this is what we need to believe. Okay? Please read here.
The knowledge of this concept fulfills a positive commandment as implied by Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, Israel, God is our Lord, God is one.
Again, I must admit, okay? In the books, if I will bring now the book of the Maimonides, I can show you. The words here, Israel, are not being quoted in the Maimonides. Here in Sefaria, they said we must put it inside. He is not quoting it. He's not saying it. He's not mentioning those words. And you can see it here, by the way, in the Hebrew. Those who knows to read a bit of Hebrew, Yediat davar zeh, okay, this knowledge, it's a positive commandment that it's stated, and now he is saying, Hashem Eloheinu Hashem Echad. He's not quoting Shema Yisrael. And again, the understanding of the Maimonides is that it's something that is related to the whole world. It's not only for the Hebrew people. We are all supposed to understand, supposed to acknowledge, supposed to learn, okay, the situation that God is one, and that there is not two entities. This is what we say, that it's not allowed to do, forgot the words, that we are not allowed to worship other gods, because there's only one. So Hashem Eloheinu Hashem Echad, okay, our God is only one, and it's not quoting here Shema Yisrael. And this is what I'm always quoting from Rashi on this verse. Rashi on this verse is saying, today, Israel, in the days of Rashi, okay, we're speaking about almost 800 years ago, even 850 years ago, that in his days, we are the only one, the Hebrew nation is the only one who is believing in one God. We all know that the Christians believed in, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. There's the three, okay? The Muslims believed in one God, but it's a different way how to believe. So Rashi is saying, in his days, only the Hebrew nation believes in one God. But at the end of the days, when more and more people will join the Hebrew nation, they will all believe in one God. So this verse is not being only for the Hebrew people, just like also the verse of the Ten Commandments is not only for the Hebrew people. It's a verse for the whole world. And the whole world is supposed to state it. And the whole world is supposed to accept it, or to acknowledge God, okay? that, and this is mainly what, just a moment, I lost you, sorry. And this is exactly what I answered this guy who asked me, how come we are allowing people to say this sentence? Because it's not only for us, it's for the whole world. Everyone who is accepting on himself, God of Israel, can say, oh Israel, the full verse. You can say also the last part of the verse, but you can say also the full verse. I am part of the Israel acknowledgement that God is one, and I'm accepting on myself this God in the way that he performed along in history. Okay, he's and it's very important. In a moment, I will say I need to explain this a bit. He's not a very far God from us that created the world and is living somewhere there in our, say, imagination, not imagination, in our logic understanding. He is God that is interfering in history and taking role in history and bringing the world to a better stage, that the good is going to win and not the strong is going to win. Okay? And this God, how are we saying this? How are we expressing this? That he took us out from Egypt. So it's not something outside there that we don't have any connection with. No, we do have connection with him. And this is also what God is saying to Moses when Moses is asking him, how can I call you in front of the Hebrew nation? So God is answering him, I will be there every time that you need me. And we see that he is with us every time that we need him. And this is why the empires fell down and the Hebrew nation is still here. Now, all those who are gathering around Israel and becoming also part with Israel, first of all, this is the destiny of the world, that we will be there. But also now, those people also becoming part of this unity. Okay, we're sitting here from a lot of states, a lot of places in the world, and there are times that we're doing also the pledge, and we are from a lot of languages, and we are all aiming to one God and to unite ourselves under this one God, the same one God that we all believe in. And this is why in our, I will say, halachic path that we take, we think that it's very clear that we came to a stage, to the dates, that people can say this verse. People can state that they are part of it. Now, I want to give another thing, but I didn't saw this in English, and I was supposed to, maybe one day I will translate all of this to English. I would like to quote a very important halachic, I will say, rabbi. His name is Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. He was a very great rabbi. Rabbi Schulman, I think that all of you know Rabbi Schulman from the United States. He is following Rabbi Moshe Feinstein under all of his, I will say, constructions, leadings, halachic decisions, whatever it is. We have a few big rabbis. Well, he's one of the big rabbis, really big rabbi. He passed away something like 40 years ago, maybe even less, 35 years ago. I can check exactly. And he was very restricted that Noahide people who are joining the Hebrew nation are not allowed to do anything else except for the 7 commandments. This was his halachic, I will say, paskin. Again, most of the rabbis are not with him. As I quoted more than once, they are rabbis, big rabbis, okay, not less big than him, like the Chafetz Chaim, like the Magen Avraham, like the Khatam Sofer, was saying that Noahide people also can keep full Shabbat. Okay, again, I'm not urging you to do that, but there are rabbis who are saying also there are few ideas in the rabbi. But very interesting that this rabbi, Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, he is giving a very short paragraph of the leading how exactly a Noahide is supposed to do. And the question that he got is that, I'm speaking about 70 years ago, okay, that the question that he got from someone is, I have been asked to teach the Bible on the radio in the United States, and it's probably also non-Jewish people will listen to what I'm teaching. Is it allowed or not allowed? So he, Rabbi Feinstein, in his idea that the non-Jewish people are not allowed to learn anything, He said to him basically that it's not good to do that. And then he's saying and then he's saying something very interesting. He's saying that there's one thing that he is giving permission to do that is not part of the 7 laws. What is it? It's to pray to God. If someone is feeling, that one of his family is, God forbid, ill, very ill, who he doesn't have enough of food or something like that. If he wants to pray in front of God, it's good. Why? Because then he is accepting on himself. He's acknowledging that God is his master and the master of the universe. Because you're not going and asking from someone who doesn't have the possibility of giving you food, you're not asking from him good food. So if you're going and you're asking from God food, so you're acknowledging God and yourself. So even Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, okay, who said that you're not allowed to do anything except for the 7 laws of Noah, and I want to remind us all, those 7 laws are, all of them are prohibition. It's nothing in positive of doing, okay? Also he is saying, he is the most extreme side, okay? We're not with him at all. You can see in the book of Brit Shalom that we're giving much more things to do. But let's go. Even him, that he is very strict, that you're not allowed to do anything. Part of the Chabad people are going with him. He's saying that to pray to God, it's good because it's like accepting the first verse of the 10 Commandments. I'm accepting you, God. Or it's like accepting this sentence of Shema Yisrael, Hashem Eloheinu Hashem Echad. You're our God and you won. You want unity. I'm not praying for illness for my good part of family from someone else. I'm asking it from the one God. I'm not praying for money, for having food for my life. I'm asking from one God, the one God who have the possibility of doing it. So even Rabbi Moshe Feinstein is accepting that non-Jewish, that he is the most extreme. He is not allowing to do anything in active way, except for one thing. To accept on yourself that he is God, and basically to say Shema Yisrael, this verse. So even he, that is a very stricted in his way, that you're not allowed to do anything, is allowing this. And it's very important. First of all, it's related with the Pasha. We read it yesterday. But it's very important to acknowledge, I will say, this movement inside us. We can do this with more learning, with less learning. We can do this only under, I think that the summary that I gave you here with the table, I can show this again, but I will send it to you. If you want, it's not a problem, I'll send it to you. It's showing, I will say, the inside, the 2 ways inside the Hebrew nation. On one side, we're asking not to demolish the reason side, the logic side. On the other side, we're not counting on this side. We're counting more on the evidence. I will say it in this way, maybe. Let me share this in another way, okay? There are 2 ways how to go, I will say, to a trial. There are a lot in the last 25, 30 years. There are a lot of CSI, right? Films. And what is the CSI? It's trying to show that I can prove something through the forensic evidence that I find and found inside the constant, right? Excellent. So this is more or less the Ibn Ezra. The Ibn Ezra is saying, you want to find God? Go and learn all the physics, all the mathematics, all the things in this world, and in all those forensic crime scene in this world, you will find God. Okay? This is one thing, one way. Rabbi Yehuda Levi is coming to the court with 600,000 male people and another, something like 2 million people that saw God in front of their eyes. He took them out from Egypt. I have 2 million, witnesses. Now you're saying to me, okay, but I wasn't there. Fair enough. Go to the story of your parents. Go to the story of your grandparents. Okay? But this is something that is holding in the last 3,500 years. I will give it in a different way, a different angle, okay? So we spoke about a trial. So we have two ways how to prove the truth. There's also another thing, okay? I can look at this like that. While the Ibn Ezra is looking on the things like, I will call it the code of the universe, okay? Let's go to the mechanics of the stars and the code of the universe. We read it before. When exactly the moon is going to hide the sun and the sun is going to hide the moon. I can understand a lot of things. Let's learn, but this is very far from me. The Rabbi Yehuda Levi is going in a different way. He's going on a way that is related with the experience of the one who is doing it. It's like a startup with the UX. You know what UX is? The user experience. I have a user experience, okay, as a Jewish. My parents, I heard things from my grandfather that he heard from his grandfather, but also when I went one day, I was 3 years, you know, all of you, for 3 years, I was in Australia. And I was there among other Jews, okay, some of them came from Europe, some of them were already for 12 years in Australia. And we all had in the, what we call Leila Seder, in the night of the Passover, we all had the same wording and the same things. And when I went 5 years ago to give a seminar of the Noahide in Prague, and we went there to one of the museums, and we saw that also 600 years ago there was the same letters and the same wordings and everything else. So he is more like the experience, the user experience, the Hebrew user experience that is an evidence of God. Those are two different angles how to look on things. On the other side, we are all the time in those two things, fair enough. But the world that, like the gentle people, okay, can observe and see this miracle thing that the Hebrew nation came back to their own land, that everything is not breaking us, but is even giving us, to be more stable and more strong and more with presency, and God is blessing us and we're blessing the world, and you can get connected with this and be part of this user experience to help us to bring the world to a better stage in your places. Those are the things that I wanted to say today. Questions? I finished my... Yes,
So
please.
yes, okay.
Dan, Jacob, please. Yes, please.
Rabbi, I wanted to ask, because the case with Rabbi Feinstein, at what point is a rabbi permitted to put up a fence around the Torah? And can you explain briefly what that intention of building a fence around the Torah is?
I will give an answer. First of all, it's a very big issue. And if you want to remind me, I will do about this long explanation and very profound one. I will say like that. The Hebrew nation, and this is one of the things that we sent also to the Arabic world, and we got a lot of answers that we are right, okay, from all over the world, from all over the Arab world. The Hebrew nation have a very interesting way how to adjust, I will call it like that, the Torah to what's happening in this world. I will give an example, okay? We are not allowed to burn any fire on Shabbat or anything that is giving warm on Shabbat. So in the old days, how did they warm the food on Shabbat in the morning, and especially in the cold places like the Baltic countries or places very cold in Europe, for example? They put the fire on Friday, and then they covered everything with a lot of mattress, with a lot of blankets, whatever it is, and it was half cold. 70 years ago, with the electricity, they invented something that we call this plata of Shabbat. It's a very interesting metal thing that doesn't have any way to bring the flame higher or lower, okay, that we have today. And you can put things on this thing, on this very hot thing, and you can put things, it depends what exactly, whatever it is, never mind now all the details, and you can eat hot food. But Moshe Feinstein was against it. He was against it. He said it's not good for the Jews to do that, for us as Jews to do that, because we're going to lose the atmosphere of Shabbat. But he was the only one who was against it. The whole Jewish world is using this platter. He's using this source of flame. The whole rabbis said that you can use it. So ask me exactly now, if we will go to the old detail. I didn't went inside to all of the details, okay? But if you will ask me exactly what happened there, these, I will call it like that. These, what the rabbis are saying, what is happening in the world, okay? The world is progressing, and there is a way how to adjust, I will call it like that, the boundaries on one side and the progress of the world on the other side. Now, the Shabbat that we are keeping is a very unique way, okay? Hopefully all of you will come on the beginning of November to Israel, and with a very much honorable way, I will host you on Shabbat also, and you will be able to see what it is to have the table of Shabbat for the Hebrew people, how we warming the food, a lot of things that you will see. It will be very interesting, very nice. You know, it's a live museum for you, but you don't need to be like that. But you're more than welcome. I will be much very pleased, okay, with this thing. But the way how exactly we're putting all the boundaries on one side, what we are allowing, what we're not allowing, it's a question that is related also with the great rabbis in each generation. If I will count today, who are the great rabbis? First of all, it's all the time. It'll be changing. Some of them are passing away. Some of them are being nominated. It's all the time like that. Rabbi Sherki is one of the great rabbis in Israel today. We have the chief rabbis of Israel. We have there are a series of rabbis. Okay, how are we calling? Who is more important? Who is less important? There are also, like, I will call it like that. It depends also how many people are listening to them, what exactly, there's a lot of things. We spoke about this more than once. If you want, we can go inside to this. Not now, next time we'll go inside to this. But there are the rules, how exactly the rabbis are giving permission, so when exactly the rabbis are doing the boundaries. Depends also what's happening in the area, what is the thing that is being, I will say, people are letting themselves a bit more, and then the rabbis are going inside. Depends. There are all sorts of rules how to work with this, but it is something that is related also with the rabbis. Think about this for a moment. It's like the lawyers. Okay, no, sorry. It's like the judges. Okay, who is explaining
setting precedents. Yeah,
exactly how the law is supposed to be. Okay,
right.
So there are all sorts of ways how to do that, and we have different ways inside the rabbis also. Few streams.
So
to go.
based on the example you gave about Rabbi Feinstein in the radio question a number of 70 years ago or so, could it be said that he was just putting up a fence when he permitted the prayer or encouraged people to pray connected to Hashem directly for loved ones in need and things of that nature, or when the times are desperate and you've got to honestly, legitimately reach out to Hashem. So was because
saying a very good point, and there are two things that we need to remember. First of all, Rabbi Feinstein is not living here today, and he didn't saw, okay, I will say, the progress of the Noahide movement in this world. He was in the era, he spoke in the era a few years after the Holocaust. Okay? So we need also to remember that. Today we have other rabbis, like Rabbi Sherki, like the chief rabbis of Israel, who gave us also nominations, whatever it is. Today you have different rabbis, and today you have also a different situation, and you need to deal with the situation that you have today. It's a different situation than 70 years ago. So there are a few differences that we need to see, and we always need to ask. It's also written down in Deuteronomy chapter 18. Okay, go and ask the rabbis in your days. Why not to ask rabbis days before? Because they don't know; they're not here. You need to ask the rabbis in your days. We have the rabbi stuff today. Okay, so what Rabbi Feinstein, and I gave also another example of something that Rabbi Feinstein was very against. And the whole Jewish world is not listening to Rabbi Feinstein and doing something else. And also the students of Feinstein are not accepting his past. what he decided. Okay? Well, today is in a different stage. So we need to ask the rabbis of today.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi. Anybody else have a question for the rabbi? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to monopolize the time.
Jacob, yes, you wanted to ask something? No.
Yeah, I have a question.
Please.
Yeah, I think I've heard some rabbis say that non-Jews should not actually read the Torah. I've read that somewhere. But I was wondering that if non-Jews don't read the Torah, for example, how will people know how to pray? For example, that you gave now that when there's need to pray, a non-Jew can pray. So if a non-Jew didn't have any exposure to the Torah, then he will not even know how to pray and even who to pray to and what to do. That is what I actually want to find out. How did that align with the situation? So
Rabbi Feinstein said it, again, I'm saying, he said it something like 50, 60 or 70 years ago. I can check exactly, okay, I don't have the book here, so never mind. And he spoke basically straight after the Holocaust. Straight after the Holocaust, there was a very big rabbi next to him, not in the United States. He was living in Switzerland, but a very, very big rabbi, okay, that said, no, you need to teach those who wants to learn, you need to teach them Torah. And today, the rabbis, I'm speaking about 50 years later, the rabbis also from Chabad, very important rabbis from Chabad, okay, they're saying that we must teach everybody also Torah, everything, not only the 7 laws of Noah, everything. And like we have also other rabbis who are saying it. So I don't think that we can have a lot of questions about things that happened 50, 60, 70 years ago. I don't think that we need to be stuck there. Today we're in a stage that we are allowing to teach Torah. We call this, in all sorts of reasons, we call this the fourth the fourth stage of revolution, okay? That we're also teaching the non-Jewish Torah. If I remember correctly, Dan and me on Sunday doing it already for 7 years, right, Dan? We started 7 years ago. So I'm speaking about me, okay? There are others also.
Almost 8 years, yeah. Later this year, I think September will be 8 years, yeah.
Something like that, right? So
yeah.
You can't ask me today why we're not teaching Torah. We're teaching Torah in the last, in the last 20 years, I would say it like that. I joined this thing, loud and clear in front of every Sunday in the last 8 years. If I remember correctly, also, we met one each other and we did a very nice hike in Jerusalem, So you can't ask me why not to teach. Today we are teaching. Those who don't want to teach, they're sitting in their places and they're not teaching. We are teaching, and I think that it's also bringing a very interesting movement of the world to get to join this thing and to teach others and to go and to meet your neighbors and to do things with others. And it's very important. I think that we have a very big, I will call it a movement that the world will come to a better stage. And we're all part of it, not only me. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, Jacob, you want to ask something?
Thanks, Rabbi Chaim, for your excellent teaching. I just wanted to ask a question about Yitro, and also before I ask the question, just about studying the Torah for Noahides. Rabbi Shirky puts a big emphasis on the fact that Torah study would be prohibited for an idolater, but for someone who has accepted the Noahide laws upon themselves formally before 3 rabbis, this changes your status so that, you can kind of be trusted with studying the Torah. But
it is true what you're saying. You went inside to a nuance, a very important nuance. If we acknowledge someone that is trying to use those teaching to harm the world or to harm the Hebrew people, we're stopping to teaching him. This is true.
Just that was one thing I wanted to say. But then I wanted to ask you about Yitro. It's so interesting, the chronology and the difficulties there. And there's something interesting I read about the Noahides and the offering. They can make an Ola offering. Rambam says just the Ola offering. But there's a discussion in the Gemara about the Zivachim, the Shilamim offering of you could eat it. You could eat a portion of this holy offering. And Yitro offered this offering, and the debate is whether it was before the giving of the Torah, after the giving of the Torah, and some people were saying Noahides can do this, etc., etc. Maybe they can also do a mincha, maybe they can also do a couple additional offerings, but Rambam says no, it was after the giving of the Torah. So my question is about Rabbi Shirky, what he wrote. He said that the more lenient opinion in Noahide law should be the one that is followed. And so if the more lenient opinion is that they can offer shalamims, wouldn't the more lenient opinion say they can do Ola and the Mincha and Shalamim offerings?
You're going inside to a very specific issue. I'm not sure that everybody here understands the difference between Shalamim and Ola. Okay? So let me first of all share this. There are some sacrificing that we give in the Hebrew nation that part is going to the altar, part is going to the Kohanim, to the priest, and part is going to the person who brought this. So basically, he is eating something very holy. I will say it in a different way so it will be clear. He is giving part of it, God is eating it on the altar, and part of it he is eating. So we're sharing together, me and God, the same steak. It's a very, I will say, it's very, you need to have a lot of courage to think that you can share with God something. This is something that for sure the Hebrew nation can do. Those who are not Hebrew, in the era of Solomon, were not allowed to bring something like that. Only to bring sacrifice that is all going to God, all going on the altar. And the debate or the question is what's happening in the days that we will bring back offering. We will build up the Temple Mount, hopefully soon at the end of this war. We'll build up the Temple Mount and we'll start to bring back, to sacrifice animals. Okay, and then the Noahide will be able also to bring this sacrifice that is sharing between me and God. Only the Jews will. And there are also, by the way, in our sages, that things are written down, that there won't be any animals, any sacrificing animals anymore. There will be only sacrifices from the the wheat and things that they grew up, okay, fruits and vegetables. That's it. And I don't want to speak too much about what will happen because I don't think that anyone knows. And the Maimonides is saying at the end of his big book that not all the things that are clear for us what will happen. Interesting. He's quoting this. So to say now it will be like that, it will be like that. Rabbi Sharki is speaking today about what we have today, but today we don't have the Temple Mount, so we don't know exactly what the sages will decide.
Can I say one thing? It's just that the discussion was about the private altars, and the being in this aspect of that's discussed is about the private altars, and it's in Brit Shalom. Rabbi Shirky writes that Ben Noach can offer an Ola on a private altar, but he has to get the instruction from Shochet, the rabbi. But my question is if there's a machloket, if there's a disagreement, Rabbi Shirky writes that in this case the more lenient opinion, like Hillel in Shammai, right? He goes in that way, and so wouldn't that indicate that they would they could also offer on their private altar the mincha in the shalamim, since there's the machloket.
Yeah, but we're not. First of all, we're not accepting this. Secondly, if you will come today to Israel and you will try to build up.
No.
Yes,
That's not true.
So,
No,
so we're speaking about, in principle things.
No. I'm not encouraging anyone to do this. I'm saying, I'm just saying, but the different. It also would apply like to the thing about for instance, the thing about studying the Torah, right? So studying the Torah, the more lenient opinion would be that Noahides can study the Torah.
But today it's
right?
more and more it's not people from a side that are saying that you're not allowed. Most of the rabbis are giving the permission.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, that, okay? So the rabbis are going to say, even the Chabad rabbis that were very against those things, they have a very, very important rabbi there that is showing how exactly and how we need to teach the non-Jewish, and is urging not only his students, but others also to teach more and more and more from the Chabad, not from the Torah. So even the Chabad that is a bit more, say, aside from a lot of the Hebrew tradition, they're also allowing and asking people to learn Torah.
Jacob, last week.
With everything that we said here, I think that instead of going now to all sorts of very small issues or very important issues, but very narrow issues, the main thing is that when you accept on yourself God, you are more than welcome also to say to state the verses that are explaining that I'm accepting on myself the one God who took out the Israel from Egypt, and He is the God that I'm accepting on myself, and the oneness of God, the oneness of God, Israel, the oneness of God, and everything. I'm part of it also. It's okay. The main thing that I want to say tonight.
Jacob, last weekend I had one fellow in the stream, or not the stream, a recording with Rabbi Shulman, who was originally from Minnesota, grew up in Minnesota, but now lives in Israel, has been there for the last 3 years, and he has a Karaite rabbi, and he's a Noahide, but he lives in the northern Negev, and he's got an altar, and he's done a few sacrifices, but his rabbi only permitted him to do the Ola. And it was just a story. Yeah, he was a first-time visitor in a Zoom meeting last weekend, and I thought it was nice to meet the guy. But then halfway in the meeting, him and Rabbi Shulman butted heads, and he left. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say, but I mean, the fellow, even in the fringe, at least he was in the land of Israel. As a Noahide, and his rabbi there only let him do an Ola offering.
Just what is his name? Connect him with me.
His name is Eli, but he was born. His father was a Jewish man, and his mother was not. And he was born in the United States. And, the more people we get involved with, the more we find these different scenarios that bring up these kind of questions that we are all looking for clear guideline and direction. And I'm pretty confident at the bottom line, there's not any major fragmentation among the Hebrew people at all. The clarity of Torah is clear. Human understanding is limited, and we all try to probe and grow as we're able. And so, one thing Rabbi Shulman said, he always encouraged somebody who's searching as a Noahide to have a rabbi they can ask, that they trust and connect with. And I've been honored to be connected with Rabbi Goldberg here for the last. It's going on 9 years, I think, since we first connected, but we started broadcasting almost 8 years ago, and it's a joy. And my learning curve has, grown so much since, and I look at things totally different than I did 8-9 years ago. But just encouraged to get connected with a rabbi out there, so that you're on a learning curve and a trajectory that is actually useful and develops. And so, just know how much you're appreciated, Rabbi, and we do pray for you and all Israel. And always
for me, it's also when we're meeting every time, every Sunday, it's also enlightening me, and it's really blessings, and I really appreciate that. Hopefully next week. It's already We passed the time. Next week, hopefully, we'll meet again. I will send you the connection with all of with the table. Okay, I don't know where you want to put it. Maybe put the link on the internet. You know what? Of this table between the difference between the
Yehuda Halevi and Ibn Ezra.
and the Ibn Ezra. Yes, it's very important.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rabbi. We appreciate you, and we hope you have a wonderful evening there in Israel. So till next week, folks, have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we'll see you then. Bye for now.
See you, everybody. Thank you very much.